I'm just Jay.
And I'm T.
And together with Ozzie, we have packed the car and are driving to Belize. Come join us on our journey. Good morning.
Good morning.
Day 3 on our trip to Belize.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful morning. We woke up this morning to 12 degrees, which means we're getting there. We are 12. I can't do math. 3 degrees. 3 degrees warmer than we were waking up yesterday. So hopefully each day that gets a little bit better. What do we want to talk about today?
Well, we had a big day yesterday. We did just over 1,100 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big day. It took us about 12 hours, so we weren't pushing super hard. But
Including our breaks and everything took us about 12 hours. Yeah, so we did have quite a few breaks. With Oz with us, we do like to stop every once in a while. So Oz is in the kennel behind us. He doesn't ride there the entire time, but he does ride there most of the time. I do try and bring him out, put him on my lap every once in a while so he can kind of look around, but honestly he only lasts there about 5 or 10 minutes and then he wants back in his kennel again. So I know people will talk about crates being cruel and that, but honestly while we're traveling he is the absolute happiest in there with his blanket, I guess his pillow and his pork chop stuffy. So
yeah, he is an anxious traveler. The entire trip is making him anxious, so that's his little cave. He can go in and relax and be happy.
Pretend that the world around him isn't
moving.
Exactly. So I lost my train of thought already. Talking about our big day yesterday. Yeah, so we had lots of stops with Oz. So when we talked to you yesterday, we talked about having our continental breakfast. Neither of us really ate much there. So we did stop for our real breakfast, our second breakfast, I guess, on the side of the road. So we started out in Conrad, drove through Great Falls, and stopped at a little roadside turnout, historical sign called Mining Place Second Fiddle. So it was just a little memory about how mining how mining got took over by agriculture. I don't pay much attention. Back in the 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah, very early 1900s.
Yeah. So we stopped there for lunch. Turned out that we chose about the worst timing possible.
Stopped there for breakfast.
Sorry, breakfast. About the worst timing possible for breakfast. It was still 9 degrees. The wind was, I don't even know, 1,000 miles an hour. It was crazy wind. So we were cold. We had our jackets on. Oz just stood there shivering the whole time. Didn't even want to be outside. But we did manage to make our oatmeal. And it was a much better breakfast than we had at the hotel.
So that was in Judith Basin, which is a huge geographical area in Montana. And it seems like once you come out of Judith Basin, the weather changes dramatically. So within, I don't even know, half an hour, the wind died down, the temperature rose substantially. It would have been a much better place to stop, but it's always an adventure. Yeah, we purchased a small butane stove. We have that packed. It's very compact, easy to use. We have oatmeal, water, just a couple dishes, all in a small Tupperware, so it's small out of the way. And we just, at the back of the Qashqai, just open it up, and on top of the cooler, just boil our water in about 2 minutes and make our oatmeal and walk around, stretch our legs. And
have a little fruit.
Yeah, and we have, for me, who's a big coffee drinker, have a little instant coffee. I can brew up a little coffee there. And yeah, it's actually a good way. And so like this morning, we try and drive an hour or two, and then we'll stop somewhere, find another nice roadside turnout, and have our breakfast. It may not work for everybody, but for us, I think it's awesome.
It's great because we get an hour or two driving in, and then we get a chance to get out, stretch our legs, and it gives us a reason to get out of the car. So
yeah, and have a breakfast we enjoy, and we can have it with Ozzie, and he can wander around a bit. So
exactly.
I think it's really good.
Works out good. And actually, let's just stay on the topic of food, because we also try and stay self-sufficient for lunch. So we purchased salads or that, yeah, I guess just we've been eating salads pretty much here for the few days we've been traveling. So we grab a pre-made salad, and then we have some pre-cooked meat that we brought with us, spiced up hamburger, and get some tomatoes and some crackers.
Once that meat runs out that we brought from home, because obviously we could only bring so much, then at the grocery store there's always pre-cooked chicken and other whole natural good foods to mix in to give us a little protein with our salad. So.
And then same thing for lunch. We just find a place to stop for lunch, open up the Qashqai, and away we go, making our own lunch and having another break. So yesterday we went through, like I said, through Great Falls, and then stopped in Billings. And in Billings we picked up some groceries and went to another little historical spot right in Billings, actually, called the place where the White Horse went down. So just kind of a neat little place again to stop and see a little history and have some lunch, and not take up too much time hitting restaurants or spending money there. So
no, and just it's much more enjoyable. Sun's shining, and I mean we're doing this whole adventure for nice weather and to have eternal summer basically. So when you think about what the weather is back home, I'd sooner stand at the back of the Qashqai, stretch my legs, and eat a salad than sit in a restaurant.
100%. So from Billings we carried on. Our goal was to make it somewhere between Casper and Cheyenne, and we did that. Got to Casper, thought we should keep going. I had looked up a couple of hotels ahead of time and found that there was a place just north of Cheyenne that had some pretty decent reviews on it and a good price, and we ended up stopping in Chugwater. Population 127. Little hotel there called the Buffalo Lodge, and it's not the Hilton.
No, it's not. And something to keep in mind if you decide to stop in Chugwater is seems like the restaurant shuts down prior to about 7. So you can either have gas station food, which we never stopped, but we're assured there was lots there, or be self-sufficient. So luckily we had today's lunch with us, so that's what we had for supper last night.
Yeah, exactly. So the room was clean, very old school. You had an actual key to open your door. Actually, think motelish, but we were able to enter the room from the inside. So
but old school, very small.
Oh, very small, carpeted, old carpet.
But the proprietor was very friendly and was clean, and it was good enough.
It was good enough.
Just not a lot of extra amenities.
Exactly. We actually ended up taking some stuff back to the car last night after we got settled in and had lunch, just because the room was small enough. We didn't have room to move once we had a few pieces of luggage in there. So
and I abhor clutter. I spent a lot of time, like the last 20 years almost, living out of a vehicle, and I like things to be super organized and that, so it was just easier to do what we needed to do, take it back, and just, I'm trying to keep everything organized because we have so much stuff in this car that the more organized we can keep it, I think the easier life will be.
So quickly, just talking a little bit about the difference between Montana and Wyoming. What did you see?
Just the huge differences in terrain. Like, I can't believe that the different geographic areas we passed through yesterday, from wide open agriculture to hard grass prairies, sagebrush, like land that is only good for running cattle on versus land that looks exemplary for grain farming, and how rugged spots were.
Yeah, so some of this hard grass prairie you'd never get a tractor through it. It's ridiculous, up and down. The plateaus, the mesas, the buttes, which we Googled last night and learned what all of those things, those landmarks are. Just really rugged, but beautiful. Just really, really nice to drive through.
Oh, just so different from what we know, from what we've experienced. I thought there was more similarities between southern Alberta and Montana, Wyoming. Great Plains states. I had no idea the difference,
Mm-hmm.
but and I thought I knew what cowboy country looked like, but no, this is cowboy country.
Yeah, thinking about all of the flora and how that's changing, just everything's getting harsher, I guess, pricklier. We took Oz for a quick walk this morning. He came back with 3 thorns in 3 feet, so it's just changing. But yeah, I think we're hopefully on our way to Amarillo. Gonna do a quick pass through Colorado, New Mexico, and hopefully into Texas today. So we'll see how that goes. But we are, I think, where are we now? We're just getting into Cheyenne?
The outskirts of Cheyenne.
Outskirts of Cheyenne. Yeah. Okay, so I was going to do a quick pan here. Honestly, this looks a lot just like in any Alberta town, but we'll do a quick quick pan, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully from Amarillo.
Bye.
Bye.